Good morning. I call to order the March 10th, 2020 meeting of the Saline County Board of Commissioners. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Shadwick. Commissioner Sparks.
Here.
Commissioner Vidrickson.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here.
I ask that you please stand, join me in a flag salute, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We now move to the public forum portion of our meeting where citizens may speak on county government, usually limited to 3 minutes and pertaining to items that are not on today's agenda.
I'm Lene Meyer from Saline. I always have to take a deep breath when I stand up here. I'm here to invite you and inform you that our community group, the Saline County Citizens for Jail Reform, have prepared 3 community conversations to hopefully get the word out about the needed change for the jail. So we're inviting you if you wish to come. And the dates are March 16th, next Monday at 6 o'clock, Prescott Room at the library. Second one will be April 2nd, 6 p.m. at the Church of the Cross on Rush Street. And the third one will be April 9th at 7 p.m. at St. John's Missionary Baptist Church on Chicago Street. I'll be giving this to Hannah. And I'm pleased to say that Michael Hill from the Hutchinson Reno County Jail is scheduled to come and talk about and present what a difference has been in their community and for their inmates that because of the added programs and such that they're doing there. And if it works out, he says he will be bringing a former inmate who's done very well and gives a lot of that credit to the programming that they do have when he was in jail. So my message is we hope to come to the community not just from the pocketbook but from the heart with compassion, understanding and believing that we're all born good, but because of circumstances in our lives, sometimes our behavior gets out of hand and crime is committed, and there they are. So we come with an attitude of firm compassion, and we hope for a good turnout. This week we have worked on putting out, well, as of today, 67 flyers such as this in the community. We have, are we contacting our friends via email and Facebook. We're going to be hopefully doing some radio announcements and hopefully then working that out with the media to, Saline Media to film Michael's talk. So then we can show it on the second and third meeting. So it's a big adventure, and we just hope for the best, and we hope people will show. I believe if we're not part of the solution, we're part of the problem. And so this is our effort to speak our truth.
Well,
Any
thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation also, and it's certainly a worthwhile effort on your part and in your group. And I want to remind the commissioners that we need to work together if one or more of you decide that you want to go to some of these meetings, that we don't end up with 3 of us there at one time. We'd be in violation of the COMA rules. Right. So we do need to coordinate with one another if indeed that someone sees that they wish to go. So, but again, thank you for the invitation.
One thing I forgot to say, of course, part of our talk will be that we will let whoever shows, let them know that our group is separate from the commission. However, we have met and listened and learned about what all you've been saying.
Absolutely.
So I think that's important.
Again, thank you.
Thank you, Lenny.
Norman Mantle, Salina. The Constitution guarantees us the right to free speech. And if it involves taxpayers' money, that's government business. What are you doing to reduce the national debt? Have you seen the clock lately? It's ticking. The debt is getting so high that we're not even going to be able to pay the interest. The clock's ticking. Tick, So what are you doing to reduce the debt in this state, this county? We need to be looking at reducing our debt.
First off, let me correct you. This county does not have any debt at this time.
I said this county,
You
state.
said the county, and we don't have any debt at this time. So
Well-
go ahead.
So why aren't you reducing the taxes then?
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for regular business. The consent agenda, and today's consent agenda is approval of tax roll adjustments, approval of accounts payable and payroll as presented, approval of Next Tech service agreement, approval of public forum agenda as presented. Does any commissioner wish to have any part of that removed from today's consent agenda? No. Hearing none, that I will say that we will accept that as approved. And we will move to item number 1.
RFA number 135-20, cabinets at Senior Center. Rosie Walter, Department of Senior Services Director.
Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning. We're right in the middle of all of our construction, so looking at all the cabinetry that we had, and we put it out for bid a couple times. The first time we put out the cabinets for bid, we received 2 bids for over $90,000. The second time we put the cabinets out for bid, we received no bids. I've worked with Hannah, and we've gone out and we've asked a Crestwood to put together something. They did, and this is what I'm presenting today. So on the drink station, we're asking for $10,039.04 be approved for new cabinets. And on the dessert line or the food line, $10,934.24 be approved for that, for a total of $20,973.28. These funds will come from the foundation grants, the CIP funds, and the private donations that we've secured.
Can you enlighten me as to why nobody would bid? Or, I mean, we've got several cabinet companies here in town that, is there a reason why they didn't want to bid, or?
We couldn't figure that out either. After putting it out 2 different times, it was very confusing, so.
Something's astray there somewhere or another. I do want to mention the fact that $20,900 will be of no cost to the county. It is through the private donations of people that are interested in the senior services and Meals on Wheels and the good things that are happening at the senior services of Saline County. So this is no taxpayer dollars whatsoever being spent on this project. So we appreciate that and your efforts to go out and get these grants and donations, Rosie. So
Thank you.
comments from other commissioners.
Your cabinets, your dessert station and drink stations, are these cabinets of a commercial quality that's going to hold up
Last.
to the
Yes.
rigorous?
Yes. Well, Crestwood, they do fine work.
Sure.
But it is the solid wood, not the veneer. I mean, so it will hold up. And then on the top, if you look through there, we did put quartz because, it's constant hot, constant wet. So we want it to last way beyond us.
Other questions? Are there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the signature to proposal for cabinets from Crestwood Cabinets in the amount of $20,973.28.
Second the motion?
Been moved and seconded that we approve RFA 135-20, cabinets at the senior center. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
We'll move to item number 2.
RFA number 136-20, 2020 chemical purchase. David Flattery, second. Weed Supervisor.
Good morning, David.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, the Noxious Weed Department is seeking approval to award bids for our 2020 chemical purchase. Bids were opened on March 2nd, 2020. A total of 3 bids were received. The 3 bids we got back for the chemicals were Sims, $61,858, Van Deest, $60,608.62. And Nutrien came in at $62,343.36. Our tentative actions are accept the bids and the staff recommendation or reject the bids. Staff recommends awarding Van Deest Supply Company for the bid for all 2020 chemical purchases, while the amount of each chemical is an estimation based on our prior year's usage. By accepting their bid, their unit prices are valid through November 2020. Should more of one or more chemical need to be purchased. The chemical is purchased and used by the county weed department. We apply it to the right-of-ways. We also do sell the chemical out to the public. Budget impact, $104,000 was budgeted for 2020 for the purchasing of chemicals. The total expenditures will be determined by the actual amount of each chemical that will be purchased through November of 2020.
So David, as far as this particular purchase here, do you have your best guesstimate as to how long that material will last?
We don't purchase it all at one time. We can only store so much at a time, so right now I'm out of a couple chemicals.
Okay, but the amount of material that we're buying here today, that'll take us hopefully up through midsummer, late fall. What would is there a guess there?
Depends on the weather, really.
Okay.
Midsummer.
Okay, so we will be seeing you again for more chemicals is what it amounts to later in the year, I assume.
I don't.
Mr. Chairman, let me help clarify this. What they're asking for is approval to award to Van Deest for the entire chemical need through November. So the numbers on the bids were estimates based on what they spent last year, but they're not asking you to approve only that amount. They're asking you to award the bid to Van Deest through the end of the year based on the relative pricing of all the chemicals.
Okay, so he runs out of chemicals somewhere along the line. Do we go out for bid again, or
No,
these
we would
prices
not
stay
go
the
out to
same?
bid again until 2021 because Van Deest has agreed to hold their bid prices through November.
Okay, and there would be then, at that time, there would be about $40,000 left in that budget for further purchases. If you've got 60,000.
So 60,000 is just based on what they spent last year.
It's
So
a
he
minimum.
will-
Just a second, the
he will-
bid says here $60,000.
Yes, that's based on the quantities that they purchased last year. They
Okay,
did
so
not guarantee as part of their bid.
you're not buying a certain amount right now.
Correct.
These-
It will be
we're just
based on their
approving prices.
need, depending
All
on
right,
how much
now
it
we're getting
rains,
somewhere
et cetera.
for me anyway.
Yeah.
Further questions from staff? From commissioners?
Yeah,
For staff?
One thing, and because I would have asked the same thing with our other departments, is there any reason why we can't buy the cheapest prices from Van Deest and go put another purchase order to Sims for the other lower price products to save $1,500 to $2,000?
You could do that if that's what you wanted us to do, we could.
Well, I'm just asking, I mean, if they would do that.
Maybe just for a clarification too, so when the bid specifications too, with the one other company that has the one item that has the lower price, they actually do add freight on top of that, which actually would have put it about the same price as what Van Deest has for the sale.
Okay, that's what
And I
wanted to ask.
apologize, we did not put the freight cost on that bid tabulation sheet, and we should do that next time.
Okay,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm guessing that they're also, your prices are going to vary. If they're just going to go item by item by item, they're trying to get this entire bid, so they're giving you a pretty good go down through there. But
Correct.
if you start splitting it out, I think you would end up paying more, I think.
Correct.
That's just my guess. And
That, when it was written up as a minimum per chemical. we will order a minimum of this amount of chemical.
All right, as an RFA is in action here, is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for action if there are no more questions.
Mr. Chairman, I move we award the bid all chemical purchases to Van Diest Supply Company as requested by staff.
Second the motion.
Been moved and seconded that we approve RFA 136-20 for 2020 chemical purchase for the Saline County Weed Department. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. David, before you get away, I don't know if people are aware that you're also a member of the staff at the Expo Center. Correct. And if you could give us a little quick rundown of what happened over there this weekend with the Equifest, Kansas Horse Council. I know it was a big deal, so how'd it go?
It went very well. We had very little hiccups on our side. We had plenty of comments about our staff. They all did a tremendous job. We had no complaints about our staff at all. And I think they hit the total number plus of what they were estimating be there throughout the weekend. Friday night, there was quite a few vendors that were saying that that was the best Friday they've ever had as far as sales. And Saturday, it was just wall-to-wall packed. So, I mean, there are a couple little things they're going to look at as far as parking and a couple different things over there to organize that a little better.
It's my understanding that originally Equifest had asked for an earlier date for next year, and then after seeing what happened this weekend for that particular date, that they've requested to remain there on those dates. So
correct. I believe it's March 5th, 6th, and 7th next year.
Right, and I would, as I was over there every day this week too, I would estimate the crowds to exceed the $15,000 or 15,000 people that they were projecting that would be there. I would say it exceeded that, particularly on Saturday. It's such a large crowd. So.
And I think the rodeo at the TPEC, I think that had a lot more people than they were expecting there too.
Well, that's a wild time watching a ranch rodeo. I'm glad I'm a watcher and not a participant.
Yes,
They get roughed up pretty good. So, all right, David, well, thank you, and relay our comments to the rest of the staff over there that we're proud of them and appreciate their efforts. And I know that you guys over there put in probably some 14, 15-hour days this weekend. So thank you for your efforts in getting everything accomplished and making everybody happy. So thank you.
I'll let them know. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to item number 3.
Road and Bridge update, Darren Fischel, Road and Bridge Administrator.
Good morning, Darren.
Morning, Commissioners. This is our road and bridge update from January and February. A few things that we had done during this period was we did finalize the work complete reporting for the FEMA declared flood event in 2019. That does not include the mitigation projects, and there's 3 projects out there that we're applying for mitigation dollars, which roads that are still closed. So we should be hearing back with this month to see if those were approved. For the work complete, we've submitted it, but the total dollar amount hasn't been accepted yet, so we're still waiting on that finalization. We did respond to 7 snow and ice events. We did complete the 2019 bridge inspection repair list. Every year, our engineering department goes out and inspects a certain percentage or certain number of our bridges, and they prepare a list for our department to go out and do the repair work on. And so we try to do that work in the winter because it's mostly tree work. Anything that's major, we go fix right away, but a lot of the work we wait till winter to do. We hauled 7,900 ton of rock, 1,500 ton of AB3, 1,100 ton of sand, and 900 ton of road salt, responding to those events. So we figure each snow event's about 150 ton of sand or salt, so kind of gives you an idea there. We did purchase 3 motor graders, 1 haul truck, a single axle dump truck, and we currently have a power broom and mower deck out for bid. We are evaluating those bids. We have those, So hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we ought to be coming back for RFAs on those. We are doing our seasonal tree trimming and removal. The picture here shows some of the bridge inspection work that they do. They'll go and they'll see drift, and then in the winter, we'll go get those things out of there. The drift things happen throughout the year. There are just certain areas that every time it rains a certain amount, we're going to get drift up against the structures, and we go out and check them after a 2 or 3 inch rain. So a lot of this work is planned when there's still trees there. So, and then in the winter, we go back and we do the removal. We did repair some culverts during this time. It's not really the time of year we do that, but this is an entrance culvert that someone tried to throw a little piece of plastic on and extend. That is not allowed by our entrance policy. So we contacted the property owner and got some resolution on it, and then went back and did the repair work to everybody's satisfaction. This is some tree trimming work that we did with the cutter head that the commission purchased for our department last year. This is on Holmes Road. Several years ago, we had removed a bunch of trees from this ditch, and now the little sproutlings are growing back up. And then so with that cutter head, we were in a day or a day and a half, we were able to go do as much work as what might have taken 3-4 days. This is some pre-work we did on Waterwell Road. The contract has been let and approved to pave that section of Waterwell Road from Burma over to Lightville. To save some dollars on it, we did the tree work ourselves out of our department. So we went over and just removed the trees and did some trimming. So when they get to that project, when it's done, it can be completed. That way we can get our equipment, heavy equipment on there before the asphalt's there and risk tearing that up. This was a culvert that was hit on Old 40. And so instead of repair this was a very narrow culvert. We contacted the property owner and just removed this hazard. He wasn't using the entrance at all, so we just got that concrete out of the ditch. And unfortunately, the person that hit that wasn't injured seriously, so we try to remove those hazards. So we do have our sign inspection complete. And then our 10-year sign replacement is also complete for 2020. This map here is a representation of the places that we hauled aggregate to, where I mentioned the 7,900 ton of rock and things like that. This just gives you an indication of where those areas are. So we're going to talk about a little bit what our department has planned. We have more plans in these, but I didn't want to include any more than what I thought we could get done within the next 2 months. Otherwise, the list would have been incredibly long. So this is Hedberg and Cooley Road. I think if you remember right, late last summer or early fall, you approved to upgrade this section of road to gravel because the department had done some work there 4 or 5 years ago to make this kind of a detour. But with the flooding, we have not been able to get to that, and this is something I hope we can get done in the next month. You can see there's still a good bit of gravel on here, so it ought to be relatively inexpensive. This is a pile of crushed concrete that the department purchased. I saw this pile on State Street just before you get to 135, and it is just in the right place to put an edge wedge on State Street between K140 and Edville Road.
So they're not going to require you to move that?
No,
I mean,
it will be hauled from there, and that's the savings in that. If we to purchase AB3 and to haul it from our yard to do that would have been $18 a ton plus the transportation. We purchased this for $15 a ton, and it's right there, so we're going to have a lot less fuel costs in hauling that material. This is Wasserman Way. The commission had a meeting from the residents up in that area, and it was decided to go out and make some improvements on that roadway. So we went out and we took a look at it. There's some issues in this photo. You can see the intersection which is Frisbee Way, intersects. There's some drainage issues there. You see all the aggregate over here where it is just washed off of here and gone across the road. So we're going to put a culvert in here and do some work to keep that from happening and crown the road so that any water on this side will go back this way, and then the only drainage over here will just be off the road. Here's where we have some issues up there. The driveway here is much higher than the road, so when all the water comes down this driveway, it washes out across the road and cuts right over here. So we're going to do some, a little elevation change here, raise the road a little bit, reshape this driveway so as it comes down here, it gets to the ditch culvert instead of trying to just wash out over the road. Now, if it rains really hard, there's still going to be a little bit of an issue, but just what we're trying to do is just keep normal rainfall amounts from impacting us. Here's a curve right here. The drainage comes all the way down from here, and you can see as over time, this curve has gotten low. It's about the level of ditch, so it comes down here and across the road. So we're going to elevate this, talk to some property owners, see if we can remove those trees to make the line of sight a little better so you can see around that curve if you're coming that way, and keep this drainage water in. There's a culvert right there. It's supposed to come down here and get to this culvert and then go across there. Now this map represents the aggregate that we currently have on the books to haul, and that is, we have I updated this list since I was supposed to be here last week. I had Dennis give me a new one. We have 12,528 ton of rock, 812 tons of AB3, and 3,200 ton of sand to haul currently. So within that 1 week, we were able to get about 1,100 ton of rock hauled.
So the red indicates areas that have been identified that need aggregate.
Correct.
And in my talking to you a week or two ago, it's actually, if we could have the weather cooperate and do nothing, but we would still be into midsummer to get all of that done. Would that be about right?
Yeah, mid-spring.
Yeah.
Late spring.
It's
The weather plays a big part in what we're able to accomplish. We do have aggregates in the yard, so as soon as we can, we'll get it.
How many tons on a dump truck? I mean, can you get 30,000 pounds, 15 ton on a dump truck?
You know, we probably don't get quite that much. It's probably more like 14 and a half.
And the reason I asked that, I was just doing a little quick math here, based on the amount of material that you've hauled in the last 2 months, and if you were getting 15 tons, that's still about 1,000 loads, dump truck loads of material that have went out in 2 months. So I find that, anybody that thinks we're not trying on the roads is making a mistake, because the effort is there, and we're maximizing our efforts with the equipment that we've got to work with.
We do have about 50 culverts scheduled for replacement. Now, these are just mostly entrance culverts and culverts that are identified in need, not anything that's in an emergency. If it's an emergency, like it's failing and causing a safety issue on the road, we'll go out and repair that right away. But we have about 50 culverts we've identified. We also have a Lego block box we've identified on Farley Road that we're going to be building hopefully here in the next month or so. And our budget line items are pretty much in line with the historical averages. Typically this time of year, the salt and the overtime line item is what you try to keep an eye on, and that's weather dependent also. So flood dependent, we're in pretty good shape that way.
All right, well, thank you. Any comments from commissioners? Questions? Seeing none, I'll thank you, Darren.
You bet.
Appreciate your efforts. We will move to item number 4.
RFA number 137-20, Resolution 20-2289, establish meeting dates for remainder of 2020. Philip Smith Haynes, County Administrator.
Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. So this is a follow-up to an item that came before the Commission in January when you adopted a charter resolution that will come into effect next weekend. That charter resolution exempted Saline County from the requirements of KSA 19-209 and substituted the requirements of 19-206, which apply to most counties in the state. So as a consequence of that, you need to actually adopt a resolution setting your meeting times. The resolution that has been prepared provides for regular meeting of the commission at 9 a.m. on Tuesday of each week, with two exceptions, and those are for a couple of meetings that the commissioners may wish to attend. Be happy to answer any questions about the resolution or make any changes that the commission deems necessary.
Are there questions from commissioners?
This is, there can be changes made to this ongoing. I mean, you're not locked into these if we add one or delete one or...
Yeah, the resolution does provide for that meetings that are on the list may be canceled by the chair when deemed necessary, as well as special meetings may be called, and we certainly anticipate a couple special meetings, for example, around the budget process.
Further questions? Seeing none, public comment? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt Resolution 20-2289, establishing county commission meeting dates for the remainder of 2020.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve RFA 137-20, Resolution 20-2289, establish meeting dates for the remainder of 2020. If there are no further comments, I will ask everyone in favor to vote aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion does carry. We'll move to item number 5.
County Administrator's Update. Philip Smith Haynes, County Administrator.
Morning again, Phil.
Yes, good morning again. Pretty simple this week. Wanted to update you on a few meetings that I've attended. I did attend a strategic planning session for USD 305. Found it very interesting, the process that they're going through. Also attended Equifest and would share the chairman's comments about how packed it was on Saturday. It was a little hard to move through some of those halls. I had also hoped to update you. Had planned to go to the city council meeting in Gypsum last night, but did not make it out of the house after filling a prescription yesterday. So, reminder that our next town hall meeting on the jail will be on the 19th of this month, so that will be a week from Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Saline South Commons area. And just as a reminder, if any commissioners are planning to attend the regional commissioners meeting in Clay Center, today is the deadline for RSVPs on that. So that's all I have for this morning.
Any questions for the administrator? Seeing none, thank you. Item number 6, commissioners' comments. Anyone have anything for the good of the commission? Any announcements? Hearing none. Any other business or announcements? I would take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned. Short meeting